The topic I want to cover in this video is nutrition. What should humans be eating? What is the natural human diet? And for that, I like to look back at human evolution. What did humans eat from the very beginning? They were hunters and gatherers and ate, of course, animals, and that was mainly the diet. Anything other than that, if anything, they would gather berries. So humans evolved from eating animals, including their fat. Initially, the animals that they ate were raw, and then later on, they were able to cook once fire was invented. And of course, humans survived from eating raw meat, so it's perfectly fine to eat raw meat. I personally like raw fish. Sushi, that's my favorite. But other than looking at human evolution, so we also have research from Dr. Weston A. Price. He was a dentist during the 1920s, 1930s. He was noticing a lot of tooth decay among his patients, and he realized that way back when he first started, it wasn't this bad, but now it's getting worse. And he wanted to find out what's going wrong. So what he did was he went traveling around the world. He took his wife and he went in search of the healthiest people of the world. And he found several civilizations. And out of the civilizations, they all ate animal products, of course. He didn't find any vegan or vegetarian societies, and actually the ones that were more on the vegetarian side, they were less healthy. But from the healthiest civilizations that he found, what he realized was that these traditional cultures were eating their same foods generation after generation. They did not introduce any processed foods or white flour, white sugar like that had been introduced in the US, and which was causing a big part of the tooth decay that Dr. Price was seeing in his practice. So in studying these traditional cultures that were all healthy, he saw that they all had perfect teeth. None of them were crooked, as he was seeing in his patients in the US. And they had nice broad faces, nice facial structure, and nice broad wide palates for their teeth. So they were able to grow in all their teeth without any crowding of the teeth and teeth growing in places where they shouldn't be growing. None of that. They had perfect teeth. And it was extremely rare to have tooth decay. Less than 1% had tooth decay. And the thing is about these traditional peoples, they were living without seeing any dentists, and a lot of them didn't brush their teeth even. And so of course they didn't use toothpaste or fluoride. And one thing I want to say about fluoride is that it really does not protect the teeth from cavities. That's all PR marketing to get people to believe and to buy fluoride, which is really a toxic industrial waste product from the fertilizer and phosphate industries. That they have this byproduct, and it's so toxic that instead of paying the toxic waste dump fee, they decided, okay, let's sell it and just market it as if it helps prevent cavities, which it really doesn't. And so now they get paid for their fluoride, and it's able to, instead of paying a toxic dump waste fee, now they dump this toxic waste into our municipal water supply. So now we have fluoridated water, which is very bad, and I suggest getting a reverse osmosis filter if you don't have one, if it's in your water supply. And avoid anything with fluoride, including toothpaste. You do not need any fluoride to help prevent cavities. If you want to prevent cavities, do that with nutrition. And so studying the cultures from what Weston A. Price discovered, they all had common characteristics. Of course, they all ate animal products, and in looking at what their diets were like, their ratios were pretty much even with omega-3 to omega-6 fatty acids. And in the modern American diet, we are very low on omega-3. So that's something you can get from cod liver oil, eating fish, and also grass-fed beef. The problem with beef nowadays is if you're buying conventional beef, it's most certainly fed grains, and grains are not the natural diet for cows. Cows are supposed to be eating grass. So when they're eating grass, they produce healthy fat, omega-3 fats in the beef, and that's what you want to be eating. Okay, another thing is about the traditional cultures. They all ate fermented foods along with what they ate. So that includes sauerkraut, kimchi. The thing that's good about that is they have natural probiotics, which is good bacteria in them that helps with digestion, and of course good bacteria that's helps with your immune system also, and it's good for just in general your health. You need to have good bacteria, and when you take antibiotics, it kills off your good bacteria, and a lot of health problems can result from that, like candida yeast overgrowth, for example. So that's something that the Western modern diet is missing nowadays, is fermented foods. But all cultures use that. They ate it with their meals. And another thing that he found in common among the cultures is they all use salt. And I know salt nowadays is pretty much demonized, which it shouldn't be. Of course, there's different kinds of salt. You don't want to be having the normal table salt. You want to go with natural mineralized salt, such as Himalayan salt or Celtic sea salt. I personally like to use Celtic sea salt. It supposedly has 80 minerals in it, and it tastes very good. So I cook a lot with that. And so basically, what I also wanted to discuss is when people decide to get rid of animal products or meat from their diets, I really think that's very sad, because animals are the most nutrient dense foods that you can eat, and there's certain nutrients that you could only get from animal products, such as vitamin A and vitamin D and B12. And I know they say that you can get vitamin A from non-animal sources, but that's really beta carotene if you're getting it from a vegetable source. It's not the full vitamin A complex from that. And also vitamin D, they say you can get that from the sun. Well, yes you can, but it's not enough. You need to be getting it in your food too. And depending on where you live, you may not even get sun in the certain times of the year. And of course B12, you can only get that in animal products. And when vegans like to let's say that they like to they'll have to admit to supplementing with B12, and they somehow can get by, but they eventually end up with several health problems. And it's very sad when a vegan mother has a baby and she's just breastfeeding. There have been cases reported in the news where the baby ends up dying because the baby doesn't get enough nutrients from the breast milk, because the mother isn't eating animal products, and the baby starves to death because of nutrients that are missing from the mother's breast milk. So that's about all I have time for in this video, but I will continue my nutrition topic in my next video.